We're just now leaving the Valdez Small Boat Harbor, making our way out into the Port of Valdez, where we're heading today. Up to the right from that buoy, there's a bay, Shoup Bay, beyond those little trees there. But it's a beautiful, beautiful sunny afternoon. As you can see, we also have an oil tanker out across the way, and there is one inbound. Just made it to Bowie Beach. That was pretty quick. Made it across in about an hour from this kind of trees and point out there. Just super lucky. You could tell me it was spring and I would believe you. It's January, beginning of January here, but it's like right about 32 degrees and sunny. It's beautiful. So here we're at the Cliff Mine, getting close to Shoup Bay. Out here is the Spit, which was a terminal moraine for Shoup Glacier, and around that is where we're heading tonight. Out that little gap where we're nearly pointing is the Valdez Narrows, and that little constriction, it opens up into the Valdez Arm, and then you've got Prince William Sound out there. Catching a beautiful sunset, learning the ways of the Greenland paddle stick. Beautiful. Made it into Shoup Bay. This is the Spit. Not a bad view. And out there, we're getting a little bit of just gentle rollers coming in out of the sound. Well, we've made it to our destination, and it is low tide. So this will probably be my last video while it's still light out, but we made it. And the glacier's up in the inner bay, kind of around the corner that way. And the moon is rising. Gotta unpack the boat and haul it on up. Some tea, and check this bad boy out. We're going backcountry gourmet. Fillet mignon, some onion. Had a pretty magical evening last night. Mostly hanging out, drinking tea, and eating delicious food. Cooked up some filet mignons. Had 2 of them. Thank you, Sammy, my wife. And I ate both of them right away with some onion. Ooh, and I marinated it the night before. It was bomb. And then this morning, waking up and just having total silence through the night, no one coming through here. Yeah, it's not super busy this time of year out here, understandably so. You know, it's been raining the last couple days, but then now we're expecting a little more snow, hopefully, fingers crossed. Yeah, we're gonna gear up here and get out on the water again and just go see what we find. There's lots of wildlife this time of year. No one's out around kind of scaring things off, so I've been getting closer to things than normal. A lot of different duck species and sea otters and seals and eagles, and yeah, a little bit of everything out here. So I'm super stoked to just be enjoying. We got the boat all packed up, ready to head off the beach here. Got high tide, so easy boat load. Yeah, this is my little plastic boat. I love this thing. It's a little, durable plastic boat. That's what I'm all about, practicality. This thing, I can haul up beaches when I just do quick little pit stops on a rising tide. I don't have to worry about busting my boat. If it was, fiberglass, I'd have to worry about that a little more. I can make use of pretty much any piece of shoreline. If I want to go for a hike, I can kind of just find a nice enough beach that's able to be dragged up without destroying it. Yeah, I'm definitely about it, because then I don't really think about or worry about having like a boat break out here. Really isn't like something that's super likely, whereas with the fiberglass boats, especially around ice and stuff, and like having glaciers, it can end up eventually just sending a wave your way, and it busts up boats that you thought were above the high tide line. So and that can be a pretty big deal breaker while you're out in the field, to have a giant hole in your boat. Oh yeah, sea otter out here now. Yeah, I'm just gonna go poke in and use this high tide to check out the inner Shoup Bay. It might be frozen over most of the bay, because it doesn't get as much of a tide swing, since it is sort of affected by tidal channels. There's only so much water that's able to make it in there, so only a few feet of change, like 4 to 6 feet, versus out here where we're getting 12-foot tide swings right now. So yeah, it does sometimes freeze over. We're just gonna go poke in and check it out. All right, so we made it into the upper part of the lower Shoup Bay. So we got close to the green channel. I actually paddled right up to the mouth of it. There is another one of its terminal moraines that actually creates a tidal channel, right? So there's two passageways between the lower bay and the inner bay. We call them the green channel and the blue channel. One is sort of this winding, shallow passage, the green channel, and it's got a little more greenery. And the other one is much straighter, deeper, so we call that one the blue channel. It's deeper, it flows with a lot more force. But typically, yeah, if you've got a high tide, as long as it's, greater than kind of 9.5 feet, you can get into the green channel at that level. And then anything sort of below, usually about 11 feet, you can flush out of the blue channel. Yeah, so the green channel was flowing in quite quickly. It's like a 12.5 foot high tide right now. Yeah, I figured I'd just give it a look kind of at the high tide, slack tide time and just see how much it's ripping in there. Unfortunately, the timing's not really going to work out today, and with my conservative decision making, since I'm alone, I've decided not to get pushed into there in case I do get stuck in a inner bay that is kind of shrouded in ice. I imagine there's probably quite a bit of it is open water, but I don't know if there's any accessible or really easily accessible shoreline in case something were to happen, and I didn't really like the idea of it pushing me right into that without being able to get out for, maybe an hour or so. Oh, there's a seal right here. So these little harbor seals have been hanging out, watching me, getting quite a bit closer than usual. There's not many people this time of year out in a kayak, so he's probably pretty curious right now as to what I'm doing. But the harbor seals that we get out here, kind of cute. They have a similar skeletal structure to canines, so I think a lot of people just see them and get this feeling that they're staring into a puppy's eyes, because their behavior is sort of like a timid or shy pup. And behind him there's Uno Creek, Uno Falls, that one. But there was at one point gold found in pretty much all of this bay, but Uno Creek and McAllister Creek certainly was a spot. And then Shoup Glacier. Out in the distance here, you can see it comes kind of around the back side of this mountain, and then makes a sharp turn, drops right down towards the ocean, but it is a couple 100-yard mud flats and riverbed now to get to the face of the glacier. Alright, so we've come to our last hangout in the calm, our little lee side of this cliff here, of this little hill, and it is a little breezy out there. Nothing crazy, but we're going to be in the cold January breeze from here on out, so I'm just enjoying this now. Little reprieve from any wind, just this calm still. It is snowing on us. Got a bit of a headwind. We just came from down there. We actually were able to sneak through the little gap in the spit today, which was awesome. We got a super high tide, so onward we go. This is our only real bit of kind of shoreline paddling coming up here, and cruise on into the snow and wind and waves here, but at least it's keeping it mellow here. Definitely reminds me that we are still out in January, but hey, it's pretty warm, so I'll take it. Crazy that we can kayak in January here. Very lucky, and stoked to just keep journeying on. I've been seeing some cormorants. I saw a sea otter earlier on the spit who hung out with me for a moment, and maybe he'll follow me for a little ways here, and probably see some more seals as I get closer to Bowie. There's the old cliff mine where they were pulling out gold and silver ore. It was actually one of the most profitable mines here in the Prince William Sound. This is just the remnants of it. There was a whole lot more to it, some docks and other buildings and things when it was in its heyday. kind of cool to just see all the old structures, the old crane and some of the pumps, like hydraulic pump systems that they used to pump out the water to access the mine shaft. And yeah, just a neat little remnant of history and things that used to happen out here, and just kind of being here and thinking about what those folks would have had to endure back in the day to make this happen. It's amazing just what we're capable of when we really start applying ourselves. We realize, you know, oh yeah, we are like related to these human beings who've done amazing, capable things throughout all of time and history. So we just often aren't living even close to our full potential. So always trying to push that boundary, and that barrier is important. So this is pretty neat here. We've got this hole in the rocks, and you can see all the kind of white streaks around it that aren't snow, are the quartz mineral. The quartz veins are what they were looking for, their precious metals, or gold and silver, within that quartz vein. So they started leaving where the boat would land back in Valdez and working their way down the shoreline, poking into any sort of promising looking quartz veins that might hold the riches of gold and silver within. And so all the way out to the cliff mine, there's a number of these, especially along this portion of the coast, that just poke into the rock. And so they continued working their way down, checking for the next spot and the next spot, until they eventually got where the cliff mine is located back behind us, and it struck gold there. And here's another one of those holes in the wall, just quarter mile from the last one, maybe a little less. And as you can see, man, it's high tide right now, so it brings you right up to these things. And this water is just crystal clear. Usually in the summertime out here, we get so much silt coming in from all the glacial outflow streams. You've got the Low River, big braided stream that comes down through Keystone Canyon. You've got Mineral Creek, Valdez Glacier stream. Yeah, just a large volume of sediment, and really fine sediment at that silt, that rock flour that's ground up underneath the glaciers, getting pushed up and churned up in the port, really giving it sort of that turquoise or teal color that a lot of people come to know and love during the summer when they come to visit. But it isn't very clear. It's quite cloudy with that silt, and so this is just such a benefit of coming out in the winter time or in the off season to be able to see this beautiful clear water. And it wants to pop out, but if I just had like a stick, I'd probably hold it in place. Perfect, there's one floating there. Let's see if we can break one off. Yeah, it's probably gonna be pretty tough. That's a root bundle. Okay, we got our stick. So let's shove this guy. That didn't work, so I had hoped, I guess. Let's back up a little bit. That's a bit of a weight. Made it to Bowie Beach for a quick pit stop. Snack time, and time to go for a little walk and eventually run down the beach when my feet regain a little feeling again. Yeah. A marooned lion's mane jelly. This is the underside. It's a little cold for you now, Jelly. Creek. Coming down that chute there with all those trees and things that are living. And this super loud ass barge. Yep, getting close to town. I think I might cruise the shoreline back though, since the viz is pretty poor. Don't want to get a boat rolling up on me and bam, splat. Kayaker on the bow of someone else's boat. So it's a pair of mergansers. See if we can make it through the passage here. This is the pool of a big waterfall. And a couple of years ago I found a dead seal on the beach, or actually my client did when she was hungover and threw up right next to the dead seal on the rocks there. Safe to say that was enough surprise for her for the day. And here's that waterfall. it is starting to really accumulate here, getting some proper snowfall, you know? It's kind of disorienting, actually, the reflection on the water of the snow falling. The last little second where it's reflecting almost makes it look like every snowflake is falling up right before it hits.